There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. It's rotating.
Nickel 6-1 Tango, Roger, over.
Oh, got it! Woohoo!
Roger, there's troubleshooting.
Disclosure. It certainly appears to be close. The word is out. In late April of 2020, the Pentagon began to disclose its investigation into UFOs. Recently, the interestingly shaped headquarters building of the United States Department of Defense officially released 3 videos of unidentified flying objects. Videos which had been recorded by fighter pilots in the US Navy using sophisticated targeting pods. A spokesperson for the Pentagon has stated, the Department of Defense has authorized the release of 3 unclassified Navy videos, one taken in November 2004, and the other 2 in January 2015, which have been circulating in the public domain after unauthorized releases in 2007 and 2017. The videos revealed strange and elusive objects, which, according to the pilots and subsequent analysts of the footage and targeting pod data, maneuvered in ways that were not thought to be possible. The objects, referred to by the Pentagon as unidentified aerial phenomena, were described as moving incredibly fast, some rotating in the air while maintaining their original trajectory. In one of the videos from 2015, the dialogue between the pilot and others observing the targeting data state that there were a fleet of the objects, and that they were moving against winds of 120 knots. They were apparently very difficult to get a lock on, even for experienced and skilled Navy pilots, using high-tech forward-looking infrared radar, or FLIR targeting pods. The footage had previously been released unofficially, but now the Pentagon has backed the footage in an official capacity in order to let the American people know that these objects are being observed. In the words of the aforementioned Pentagon spokesperson, the footage of the encounters was released in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that has been circulating was real, or whether or not there is more to these videos. One of these recorded encounters was already the subject of a video on this channel, that being the USS Nimitz Incident, in which Commander David Fravor of the US Navy pursued one of the UFOs in an F-18 Super Hornet fighter jet. Commander Fravor has never been a conspiracy theorist, and felt quite neutrally toward the idea of extraterrestrials until the incident. He was simply doing his job, investigating anomalous radar markers which had been detected by his aircraft carrier, the USS Nimitz, and another carrier which initially discovered the markers and relayed the information to the Nimitz. In one of the videos released, those operating the targeting systems which captured the unidentified object seemed positively ecstatic to have attained a lock on it, suggesting that this was incredibly difficult to do. In fact, in a wildly popular podcast with Joe Rogan, Commander Fravor of the Nimitz Incident explained to Joe that the object he interacted with was actively scrambling his targeting pod. This would seem to indicate that this object was consciously aware that it was being pursued, and that it had the technology aboard to detect how it was being targeted, and took measures to prevent this from happening. In an interview with ABC News in 2017, Commander Fravor asserted, "As I got close to it, it rapidly accelerated to the south, and disappeared in less than 2 seconds. This was extremely abrupt, like a ping-pong ball bouncing off a wall. It would hit and go the other way. I can tell you, I think it was not from this world. I'm not crazy, haven't been drinking. It was, after 18 years of flying, I've seen pretty much about everything that I can see in that realm, and this was nothing close. I have never seen anything in my life, in my history of flying, that has the performance, the acceleration. Keep in mind, this thing had no wings." The other videos would seem to indicate that those involved shared the same sentiment with Commander Fravor. In all of the videos released, those operating the equipment used to observe the phenomenon and those responsible for analyzing the footage agreed that these objects were maneuvering in ways that would not be possible with even the most sophisticated technology that any source on Earth was capable of creating. This is even further evidenced by the fact that the Pentagon released the footage. According to the Department of Defense, the footage took so long to be officially released because it was necessary to make sure that no classified or sensitive technology, or any information that could compromise national security, was revealed in the disclosure. If the Department of Defense had any knowledge that these objects were being powered by man-made propulsion systems, especially those created by the United States itself, then it is likely that this footage would never have seen the light of day. Furthermore, it is suggested that these videos are merely the tip of the proverbial iceberg. It was also necessary for the Department of Defense to make sure that none of the footage impinged on any subsequent investigations of military airspace incursions by unidentified aerial phenomena. This phrasing confirms that there are more investigations into yet unreleased encounters between the US military and UFOs. Perhaps many more. In fact, after the release of some of the footage in 2017, the Navy officially instated a formal process through which pilots could report their encounters with these UFOs. Afterwards, the Navy confirmed that this has caused the amount of such sighting reports to increase. The release of this controversial footage may indicate that something has recently happened that proves the value of these investigations. A previous program in which the Pentagon studied unidentified flying objects, known as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, was shut down in 2012 after operating for only 5 years. The reason for its closure being that the Pentagon claimed that there were more important things that needed funding. A former head of the program, Luis Elizondo, stated that there is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone. These aircraft, we call them aircraft, are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the US inventory, nor in any foreign inventory that we are aware of. In a tweet responding to the Pentagon's releases, Senator Harry Reid, who was responsible for the advent of the program, stated, "I'm glad the Pentagon is finally releasing this footage, but it only scratches the surface of research and materials available. The US needs to take a serious, scientific look at this, and any potential national security implications. The American people deserve to be informed." If in 2012, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program was not important enough to continue receiving funding, why now is the Pentagon releasing and standing behind the veracity of these encounters? Is it possible that the Pentagon has discovered new information that would indicate that the encounters are more important than they believed them to be in 2012? Is it possible that the Department of Defense now has unequivocal knowledge that UFOs are real, intelligently controlled, and not of this world? While they may not have expressed this explicitly, all of their statements taken collectively do seem to suggest that something about the way the Pentagon views UFOs has recently changed. As per usual, the people are once again left in the dark, while the government likely examines many more hours of footage of unidentified flying objects. However, as these recent releases are the first official acknowledgement of UFOs by the Pentagon, the situation certainly appears to be escalating. All that is left to do now for those who wish to know more about these potential visitors from another world is to wait for more information. And we certainly will. Disclosure is coming. Thank you for watching and listening. In an effort to expand into other platforms for content creation, I've begun streaming on Twitch. You can follow me there at twitch.tv/phobosmedia. No spaces. I've had a lot of fun streaming so far, and I would really appreciate it if you would follow me on Twitch as well. I think that this is going to be a really great way for me to finally start interacting more personally with my audience. So if that's the kind of interaction that you were looking for from me, Twitch is definitely the place to get it. And as always, if you like this video and you'd like to see more like it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like the video, and share the video. And if you'd like to support the channel more directly, you can consider becoming a Patreon donor or picking up some Phobos Media merch at my Represent.com merch store. Links, as always, will be on screen and in the description down below.